Today's video, I want to talk about a whole bunch of stuff. I think it's very important that I share my opinions on some things because a lot of people come to this channel to hear my opinions on certain things. A lot of the stuff that I talk about is based on talking with thousands of people over the past 7 years. And when I see comments or things on some of my videos, and people have the wrong ideas of what I believe in, I'm not really sure where they get some of their information, but a lot of the stuff that I read is not at all what I believe in. I don't even know where they get some of their information. So I wanted to do a video real quick, just touching on some things that I personally think are important for recovery, and the stance I have on different substances, different ways of doing things. Okay, first and foremost, the most important thing I want to get across here is if you make the decision that you want to get clean, okay, the number one way to go about getting clean that I think is best is inpatient rehabilitation. Okay? There is nothing that can come close to the safety, the education, the all-around experience of an inpatient rehabilitation center. Now, I am not naive. I have spoken to more people than I could possibly ever remember that are unable to go to inpatient rehab. There's a million reasons why. The most common reasons are they're the breadwinner. Even if they're not the breadwinner, their finances are a key role to keep their family going. They don't have the finances to go to rehab. Insurance won't cover it because a lot of inpatient rehabilitation centers are extremely expensive. Now, you can go the whole route where you say, well, health is number one. Nothing should be more important. You should invest in your health. That's very easy to say, but when you're talking about $15,000 to $30,000, a lot of people can't do that. A lot of people can't get loans for it. When you live this lifestyle for a long time, your credit gets hurt. I mean, there's a million things that are impacted by addiction in general that can hurt you even going to rehab. Okay? So, first and foremost, I am not against inpatient rehabilitation centers whatsoever. I'm not against outpatient rehabilitation centers. I think they are the best places you can go and the number one choice you should have to getting clean. Okay? But I know it's not possible for everyone. Then you have rehabilitation centers like the one I went to. I've seen comments where people say, well, this guy went to some cookie cutter place in Manhattan. Yes, I went to a rehabilitation center in Manhattan, but it was Salvation Army. If you don't know anything about the Salvation Army is free. It is a homeless shelter / rehabilitation center. You work for them. You walk in the door, you go to the intake officer. The first thing they do is they drug test you to make sure there's nothing in your urine. So you need to be detoxed before you even go there. Okay? So you walk in, you pass. If they have beds, they take you right up to your bed. All right? They give you your bed and a sheet and a voucher to go to the store. When I went, I had only the clothes on my back. So I had to go get, unwashed, used underwear, used socks, because I didn't have anything. And then the very next day, you go to your meeting later on that day where they explain all the rules. The very next day you go to work. And then you work for them 5 days a week. You earn $7 a week. $7. But you don't need money when you're there. Because they give you 3 square meals. They have clothes on your back. And they help you. Okay? So there are other options besides, spending a boatload of money on inpatient. But you have to be willing to, work your ass off. You're going to be around strangers. You're sleeping next to people you don't know. There are some shady characters. You're going to know who they are right off the bat. I mean, I remember holding, so stupid, but having like a razor and, like watching my back in the in the bathroom. You don't know what you're getting into. But you have to be willing to go. At that point, I was willing to do anything to get clean, and that was the only option I had because I was facing criminal charges. I had over $50,000 in debt. I owed a ton of money, all kinds of stuff. So that was my only choice, and the place saved my life. Also, I want to talk about Vivitrol. All right, I did a video on Vivitrol, and YouTube took it down. So I don't know if this is going to stay up. But it's naltrexone, all right? And it's a shot that you get once a month. Now, the shot is over $1,000 a month, so it's extremely expensive. But it blocks the effects of opioids. So if you were to, get the shot and then 4 days later you try to get high, you're not going to have any effects. You're not going to get high. It has a very high success rate. A lot of prisons give that, or prisons, more so prisons than jails. They give it to their inmates that are going to be going back out in the street. Usually the program, I believe, is like 3 months, so 90 days out. They get 3 shots, and then it's that last 30 days is supposed to help them, stay clean, get a job, and go on the right track. So, this is really close. So, I am a very big advocate for Vivitrol. I think Vivitrol is outstanding. Do I like the price of it? No. I think it's extremely high price. I also think that the pharmaceutical company that creates Vivitrol has a little bit of a double dip because they are also the creators of Zohydro, which is the hydrocodone only tablet that has no acetaminophen in it. That's high doses hydrocodone. So I mean, at the same rate, they have a very extremely strong dose hydrocodone only pill that is abused like crazy. But then they have Vivitrol they can give you if you get hooked on that. So I don't like the whole that they're on both sides of the spectrum, but they're a pharmaceutical company. They can do what they want. As far as other substances, I've shared my views on kratom. However you want to say it. Some people say kratom, whatever. I think that it has its place. Everyone spoke up when it was banned. And it was taken off the banned substances list because so many people were upset about it. I do believe that there are a lot of naive people out there that believe it's not addictive. They think it's some miracle, plant. So many people will say, it's natural. So if it's natural, how bad can it be? I mean, opium's natural. All right, just because it's natural doesn't mean it's good for you. But, it does have its place. I mean, you would rather be using kratom than using, heroin. All right? But there is a lot of information that needs to be put out there that's more truthful about it. People try to say it's an equivalent to coffee, and that's just bullshit. It's not. It's in the same family as coffee, but it is addictive. And there are people every day that contact me that are going through kratom withdrawal saying, what the hell, I didn't think this had any withdrawals, or even if the withdrawals, they weren't going to be that bad. And then you're going to have people that are going to comment on this video, are going to be like, you're so full of shit, I've been through kratom withdrawal and it ain't nothing, you should try methadone withdrawal. Yes, obviously things are going to have different reactions for different people. Methadone withdrawal is on its own level. But when people go into the idea that they're going to take kratom and it's going to be, just this thing they're going to get at a smoke shop and they're not going to have any problems, and then they start going through withdrawal, they're scared and they feel like shit and they want to know why. All right, so I believe there needs to be a lot more truthful information about what that stuff is, how it reacts to the mu opioid receptors in the brain, because it does act like an opioid on the brain. And anything that does that and messes with brain chemicals is going to have side effects. Okay? What are some other things I wanted to talk about? The whole idea of, Imodium, loperamide, there are videos all over the place of people taking large doses of it for to combat withdrawal symptoms. If you take it for diarrhea during withdrawal, that's fine. But when you see people that are taking 100 milligrams, 200 milligrams of this stuff at once, that is insane, because there have been deaths associated with it because it messes with your tachycardia and your heartbeat. I mean, it could cause your heart to shut down. There is a gentleman that did videos. He was a Jewish guy who did a bunch of videos on it. He actually passed away. And I'm not 100% sure how he died. I tried researching it. There's a bunch of gossip, which you can't believe anything anybody says unless you really know him or it was like put out in the news. But there's all kinds of information about why he died. There is a good chance, and this is just my opinion, that it had something to do with him taking those large doses of lopramide. I mean, when you're ingesting 200 milligrams of that stuff, it's going to have side effects. And when they talk about the side effects that it induces problems with your heartbeat, it can, disrupt things. Anything dealing cardiac, you don't want to mess with. So when I see people that are telling other people, yeah, just start taking large doses of Imodium, I want to scream, because it's so incredibly dangerous to do that when there are so many other options out there that are so much safer. And I see people that are, coming off of, 40 milligrams of oxycodone a day for a year, and they're taking 200 milligrams of lopramide, and I want to scream at them and tell them, you could suffer such a small amount of withdrawal symptoms for a short amount of time and be back to normal, but now you're going to get hooked, because you can get addicted to lopramide. You're going to get stuck on this stuff because it's so easy accessible, and you could buy it in anywhere, any store. So now you're going to have an addiction to something that you can easily have access to, and it's cheap. So that's going to even cause even more problems for you. So I'm hugely against lopramide use, and it's just that's one of those things that just gets me extremely aggravated. And another topic that's real big that people will have arguments with me about is relationships. When you're in a relationship and you're both trying to get clean at the same time, my stance on the whole thing is, when I put everybody into one big pool and I think about all the times I've talked about the same situation, what works best is what I'm going to talk about. Obviously, each scenario is going to be different for each couple. But as an overall, for me to talk as a talking point, I'm going to tell you the best case scenarios for you guys to split. Each of you work on yourself by yourself. Be very selfish during the time and work on your own recovery. After you have a good amount of clean time, you have a good, nice, strong foundation in your recovery, if you want to get back together, that's great. But what you're going to find, and a lot of people do find this out, even if it's just them going through it themselves and their significant other has no issues, is that the person you are while you're using is not who you are when you're clean. The things that may be enticing to you while you're using are not going to be the same when you're clean. What's attracted to you then might not be what's attracted to you now. So there's a good chance that you might not even want to have a relationship with the person that you were having a relationship with in the beginning. Okay? And that's the same that goes for the other person, the person who's clean and who is with you. Because you might be a completely different person and they don't want anything to do with you. It's extremely complicated. But that's my view on it, is that it's best for the two people that are getting clean at the same time to split, work on yourselves, and then get back together after you have a strong foundation to your recovery. Another thing I want to talk about is YouTube channels. When I back people who start their own YouTube channel, the reason I'm backing them is because they're putting themselves out there. They're keeping themselves accountable for their own actions, and that plays a big part in a lot of people's recovery. That's one of those things that I did in the beginning of mine that I had a huge impact on me doing the right thing each and every day, because everything I did during each day, I would document. I would blog about it, and I would talk about it. And it had such an accountability to my early recovery because I had people emailing me and talking to me each day about what was going on in my everyday life, that being open and honest about everything held me accountable. Even the bad stuff. I mean, even the stuff that I was in trouble for, I was open about everything because it holds you accountable. And that's what videos do. That's what blogs do, is that you're speaking about your life. No strings attached, everything. And when you do that, even your downfalls, it shows that you're trying, and you're open about who you are as a person. You're not hiding anything anymore, and you're taking all that weight off your shoulders. And very few people are willing to do that. So when I see people on YouTube that are making channels and being open about what they're going through in their own recovery, I'm all about it. Now, if they choose on that channel to start helping other people before they're clean, that's up to them. I don't think that's a good idea. I've talked about it a million times. But having a YouTube channel and talking about your own recovery is fantastic. Okay, that to me is brave. It shows, that you're willing to show your faults. And you know that when you do show yourself and the things that you're fighting, there's other people that are fighting those things at the same time. Okay? So when you can feed off each other, that's good. When you start giving advice to other people when you're not on a strong foundation, that could lead to problems. Okay? So there's a line there that you have to stay on one side. Is, you work with each other. You bounce ideas back and forth. But as soon as you start, being like a sponsor type person to other people when you don't have a lot of time, that's putting a lot of people, a lot of pressure on you when you don't need to have extra pressure. You know what I'm saying? So, just wanted to touch on these things because, I think I get misunderstood a lot of times. There are a lot of people that back me 100%. I hear from them all the time. There's nothing better than that, to have people that, they have your back. They know what you're doing. They know, they respect the amount of time that goes into this because, if it's very hard, there's a lot of time. I spend an ungodly amount of time on this. I don't really have, and to be honest with you, I don't really have a life. I don't have this, I don't do a lot of things, okay? My life is my kids, my wife, and my extended family, all right? Which we spend time with every weekend and whatever. But for the most part, I work and I talk with people all day. And I go to the gym. So I don't have a lot of friends that I go out with. Like, I don't go out to eat with a bunch of people each week and watch games. I don't watch sports anymore. I gave up all that stuff. All right. I don't have. Sure, I'll catch a game here and there, and I'll look at scores every once in a while. But I'm not like I used to be. I don't sit and watch every Met game like I used to. I have priorities changed, and my life is structured towards my family and helping people. And everything else is, it just went away because it doesn't have the importance like this does. So when I talk about the amount of time involved in all of this and the people that respect it, there's a lot of time. A lot. More than 60 hours a week. Easy. But it's such a part of my life that it's not really work. You know what I mean? Because, my phone's always on and it's like I'm doing things and it all gels together. So even if I'm out and about doing things, I'm still talking with people. You know what I mean? Because of technology, it allows you to do that. But a lot of time. And when you have people that back you, it means the world to you. But when you see a lot of stuff that is misunderstood, you want to talk about it. Now, of course, there's always going to be trolls that are going to attack you. I have it all the time. And, that's just what it is. I mean, I don't even pay attention to it anymore. I just delete or block people because they have nothing better to do anyway. And that's on them. They could do what they want. If they enjoy doing that, it's fine. And some of the comments, I'll be honest with you, some of them are funny. I mean, I read some of this stuff, but people, you know, they like to talk crap. And I have a great sense of humor, and some of the stuff is pretty damn funny. So if it's fun, you know, whatever. But don't pay too much attention to trolls, because if you feed them, they'll grow and they'll keep coming back. So, yeah, that's it for today's video. I'm really low on stories. You guys are slacking on the stories. I haven't gotten any in a while. So if you could, email them to ryan@comsupport.com. For the question and answer video, I have a good amount, which I really need to do, because I was supposed to do it at the end of last week, but I wasn't able to. So I'll do that at the end of this week. But definitely need stories. So if you're on the fence about sending a story, please send a story. Please make your story at least like 500 words. If it's one paragraph long, there's not really much you can tell in a story in one paragraph, even 2 paragraphs. I mean, I have people that will write me and say, please share this, but you didn't say anything. And I'm not being rude by not sharing it, and then they comment and say, why didn't you share my story? Well, when you say, you're pretty much, you're saying a generic thing. There's nothing personal about your story. There's nothing that anyone's going to get from saying that you used for this amount of time. Now you've got this amount of time, and you know, there needs to be substance. There needs to be a story that people can relate to. All right? So try to share who you are, and you can still be anonymous and share your struggles and your triumphs, and that's what people really cling to. All right? Comments, questions, advice below. And that's it for today. All right? Sorry about ranting. Every once in a while I'm going to rant because I'm human, and I just want to touch on subjects that I feel are misunderstood so many times. And I hear the same questions over and over again. It's like, I never even said that. Where did you even get the idea that I was against or for, or, you know, whatever. But I've never flip-flopped on anything. I've always been this. I've always thought the same way on everything that I talk about, because this is what I do all day. So that's why I did the video. So yeah, question, comments below. Question and answer video, emails, and stories to ryan@comsupport.com. All right, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, and enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Thanks.